Hi Stampin' friends. Today I want to share how to make a swing fold card, and this is a heart-shaped swing card, and I think they're really fun. The heart is a perfect die for a swing fold because it's got kind of a natural center. So I'll show you how to make it an easy way, and I'm using some new dies here, and I want to point them out before we get started just because you might have missed them. A lot of times we look in the catalogs, and maybe you were looking for Valentine's Day in the catalog and you didn't see it, but that's because they were in the online store and they were released in December maybe. Anyway, they're easy to forget that there's an online exclusive section to the online store. So if you click on the online store and it has categories on the side, if you were to go to stamps, eventually you'll get to this, but also don't forget to check out online exclusives because there's exclusive stamp bundles or even suites. This particular one is really pretty. It has designer paper that's gorgeous, and it has this stamps and dies, and it has some gold threading, and there is also a, you know how we have those brass butterfly embellishments with the adhesive on the back? Those are so great because they're flat. Well, there's flat hearts in brass also. So there's a lot of great stuff in the online exclusives area, and I want to point that out because we miss them. I miss them a lot, so I know if I miss them, a lot of people miss them because I'm at that site quite often. Okay, so here is a swing card. Let me show you what it is. Here it is. And what happens is, see how this, watch this heart. So when you send it to someone like this, and then when they open it, this heart swings to the other side, even though this is staying on the same side. Isn't that fun? And then you can decide what you want to do. It's nice if you have a saying on the front and a different saying on the back, like, you know, lots of love, thinking of you, or whatever you want to put on the back, or something. You can keep this one for a place to write a note, and then you've got additional space here. So you can decide how you want to decorate, and I will show you how I put this one together. We did this at Stamp Camp back in December, I think, and I set aside a kit so that I could make one here on a video, and then I forgot all about it because of the holidays, and so I never put it together. So here we are. Here's our kit, and this is how the kits are at Stamp Camp. So we'll just work right off of that. Okay. So you will see that I have a card base in crumb cake, and then there's a couple scores you need to do here. You need to score it. I like to start from this side, and I'm going to fold it so you can see those score lines because I'm sure you don't. I always pre-score for Stamp Camp just because there's a lot of people, and we don't want to all have to pass around the cutter. So you're going to score 2 times. You're going to score it at 2 3/4, and 5 1/2. Okay, so then that leaves you this kind of ziggy zag, and see how that opens like a Z-fold card. All right, so I'm just gonna go over it with my bone folder to get it nice and flat. And then as far as your decorations go, I'm going to show you what we're using. This is paper from the Country Woods Designer Series paper pack, and this is just 2 sheets of any wood tone that you want. I'm using 4 by 5 1/4, and this one is going to go on the inside, and this one is going to go on the outside. And then I've got from the die set. Oh, I do want to point out this die set. When I ordered this, you know, they show you on the computer the picture of what dies you're going to get, and I had kind of forgotten, and then it showed up. And I thought, oh, these are really nice size hearts, and those are really pretty, and I liked this one. And then I turned to the next page, and I actually went, oh, like that, because I love how big these hearts are. And I was thinking to myself that this would make a nice heart-shaped card, you know, where you put it through the die machine, but like don't go all the way to the edge. And we're going to do something like that here, where we're not going to go all the way to the edge, so you'll see what I mean. And then you could, you know, have a card that's 2 hearts folded, and it'll fit into an envelope. Look, oh, here's an envelope, and it'll fit right in there, and you can have a heart-shaped card. It's so big. I love it. Okay, anyway, I'll probably make a card like that, and then I'll show you that video. Okay, so you get a lot of dies here. We're going to use these 2, so might as well get them out. And we're going to use the largest one from this side, and I already pre-cut. Anytime something doesn't require stamping, I pre-cut it for Stamp Camp, so this is already cut out. Okay, those are our pieces. So I've got a basic white. This is Moody Mauve, and this is Lost Lagoon. All right, so let's get going. So to cut this out, I'm going to stick this down and cut it at the same time. And you can, but actually I'm going to cut it in half first, and I will show you why when I go to put it together. So I'm going to, so this piece here, like I said, is 5 1/4 long. So we're going to cut that in half. Half of 5 is 2 1/2, but this is 5 1/4. So we're going to go to the 2 1/2 and move it over one more 1/8 and cut that in half. There we go. And then I'm not going to glue this down right now because I do want to stamp still on it, but I am going to use a washi tape. Okay, so then I'm going to lay, and this, the reason why I like to cut it in half, there's 2 reasons. The one reason that it's beneficial is you can see that score line really well. All right, so let me take some washi tape and stick this down. Now you don't have to use designer paper here. You can just stamp directly on your crumb cake, so that's up to you. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to cut this without going on this side. Maybe you've done this before, and it's all going to become clear. All right, we're going to go like this. I'm going to come down, oops, move this a little bit. Put the crank on this side so you can see better. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to use this top plate. I'm pushing it in further instead of lining it up. And then I am going to place it so that this lines up with my crease. Now there is a bevel here. See this bevel? And that means that it's skinnier there because it bevels down. So I do hang it over a little bit past. So like technically the crease is here. I'm going a little bit past the crease because of that bevel. Okay, and now I'm gonna crank it like usual. I have to kind of hold on to it so it doesn't shift. So I'm holding on to it till it really grabs it. Okay, and then we're gonna go through. All right, so now we have our little half heart. Okay, so here we go. Now the other piece is right here, and we can stamp on it. Now the other half, you can decide if you want to cut that off, but you're going to cover it, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, the second reason why I like to cut this piece in half is because when you have these two on here and you're folding it, it gets really bulky here and it doesn't lay as flat nicely, and it just kind of tends to get wrinkly and bulky, and so I just cut it, and that way I don't have to think about it. So let's go ahead and do some stamping on this part. I'm going to use the flower from the stamp set and this leaf here. You can use any of the leaves. We're also going to use this heart on one of our Moody Mauve hearts. So I'm going to get that out too. So here's my Moody Mauve, and I'm just going to kind of randomly put these around, kind of hanging off the page a little bit. There we go. And I'm going to stamp Moody Mauve heart in the center of this heart. There. Okay. Then with my other, I'm going to do that leaf in Lost Lagoon. And the leaf kind of has a natural stem that kind of points inward. So I'm kind of looking for grooves in the flower, places where I can stick the stem. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I forgot. We also need some on some scrap. So grab a scrap of basic white, and we're going to cut out 2 leaves and 2 flowers. Oops, I got really close to the edge there, didn't I? You know what, I'm going to cut it out anyway, and we'll use that as our piece that's on the bottom because they do overlap. I don't like to be wasteful. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cut these out off camera to make it faster. Okay, now let's put it together. I am going to put down these pieces first. Now I want you to put down adhesive close to the edge here, since we've cut this piece in half, and really get it right on that score, just past that wrinkle. And I'm going to make sure to get enough adhesive down in this little piece here too, because we don't want these parts popping up. Right? Okay. All right. And this one is the inside piece. So I'm going to go ahead and stick that right down there. Okay. And then our outside piece covers, and it kind of helps cover this crease. You can cut this without creasing it all the way through if you want to just stamp right on there. You just have to be more careful, and I think creasing it before cutting it actually is so helpful, and just sticking another die on top rather than trying to make this stay smooth and stamp on it. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, and then this one goes back here. And I will put a link to all these products in the video description. There we go. Now here's my tip for putting down this white one. So if you put adhesive on the back here, and then let's open this up, put it adhesive side up on top of this, and then close. Then this will be exactly on top, and that way you know that you've covered it completely. Okay, so then we are going to stick down, what was the one I wanted to be on the bottom? This one, because I got too close. Okay, so I'm going to put that like this, and then I want this final flower to stick up with a dimensional, and that's going to hold the front closed, because that front, you know, it's got so much going on, it wants to kind of open up on you. And so I'm going to just put a couple, I'm going to put a dimensional on here, but I'm going to leave this side not sticky. And then we're going to see where we can put this down. So just a couple petals, just a little bit, enough to hold it. So it's easy to open and easy to put back. You don't want them to have to struggle and turn it and bend it. So see how I'm able to just barely move it and get it back underneath. Okay. All right. Now this one can go down, and this is just that pierced Lost Lagoon heart, like this. And we're going to put that down like so. And then our words. You can save this for something else too, this little heart. That'll be cute on something. Our little words. Okay, so this word actually says sending lots of love, but I only wanted the lots of love part because I didn't want to, this is bigger, and I just didn't want to cover up. I mean, I didn't want to make the tag so big. So when I inked this up, you can do this a couple different ways. You can use this as a straight little rectangle like this. And in order to do that, I wanted the sending gone. So all I did before I put my words down on the Versamark, I covered the word sending with some a little flag post-it note. and then I inked it up in the Versamark, and then removed this and then stamped down to keep that word sending off. You could also just cut it, but that L, I will say, comes super close. So here's one that I did where I just cut it. I cut off the sending, but in order to do that, I really had to get the top of that L like that, because it just kind of comes up a little bit. And this one's really close to it. It was really hard to cut right there. That was really tricky. Another fun thing that you can do is cut out these words, and I will do that. So I'm not going to emboss that on this video because a lot of you have seen embossing before. This is just white embossing powder heated up, and it kind of melts into this nice shine. But I don't want my video to be too long. I've noticed that when my videos are too long, they don't get a lot of views. So when you cut out words, my little tip for you is to just be smooth and bubbly. Because if you are really stark with lots of harsh angles, think of bubbles around your letters. It looks better. If you have all these really sharp angles, it looks kind of scraggly. So you want to try to be bubbly. And if you're not perfect, that's okay. People aren't going to notice that, the not perfect as much as they will scraggly. So just be flowy. Okay. So I just cut that out, and then I'm going to use the little mini dimensionals, but I want to put some twine behind it. Now on this card I put Moody Mauve twine, and I ran out at Stamp Camp. I don't have any more Moody Mauve twine, so we can't use that. We are going to use linen thread, which is actually my favorite. All right, so I'm going to grab the linen thread, and I wanted a double bow. So how I did that, I just measure. I usually just kind of measure whatever I've got near me. So I happen to have this paper near me. I think it's about 10 or so inches, and then I'm going to do it twice. So it's like 20 inches. And I'm going to cut that in half, and then I fold this in half. Now, because it was on that spool, it's tight, it's curly, it's harder to tie. So I usually run it on a bone folder like this. And see, those curls just straightened right out. Like all right. So let's cut the other end. And now I just do bunny ears. I find the middle, I make 2 bunny ears and fold it around. Okay. Then you can kind of play with you can decide if you want your loops to be the same. You can pull one longer than the other. Okay, and now I'm going to just use a glue dot, put that down. I hope you liked this card. It's a fun one to make, and it's a really fun one to get, because then they're like, oh, look at that, it's swing. It showed the back. They're kind of like, what did I just see? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put that down. And our words. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave me a comment, a heart, a little comment, a thumbs up. Helps the little YouTube algorithms recommend me. That makes me happy. Send me some lots of love. All right, here it is, and here it is open. And then again, you can put another sentiment here. My heart shifted a little bit when it was drying. And then you can write a greeting there or put another stamp, and you can make this with any shape. If you would like to share what you make, you can share on Beth's Paper Cuts Idea Sharing Group on Facebook, or I would love to see if you make it. So please do share, or join the group and just see what else is on there. If you want to know what these products are, I'm going to put them in the description link. And otherwise, I hope you'll come back again. If you hit the notification bell, you will get notified whenever I post a new video. Thanks for watching. Bye.